Okay.
All
Thinking
right.
about that. A few more windmills have oil on them.
That surprised me. All right, we're back to sign checks and vouchers and take care of, how was the bids? How did you,
So,
I guess we'll take care of that, 'cause that's old business. Go ahead. come on.
yes, sir. The responses were simple, as intended. They stated what was needed, with the exception of one of the bids. One of the bids didn't have the date. It was required in the RFP to submit the date of completion, but in review, it was verbalized by the bidder when he could begin in work. However, even though saying that bidder was not the low bidder. So the bidder who did comply with everything, as specifically stated in the RFP, was $500 cheaper than the other bid, and that would be. I'd like to recommend that the commission move to approve Schmidt Excavating to perform the demolition at 224 South 4th Street, known as the One Stop Gas Station, in the amount of $26,180.
They are based in Coffee County?
Yes, sir.
Smith.
Both of them are locals.
I'll move.
Bob's moved
I'll
to,
second.
Tim seconded, I guess, any further discussion for awarding Schmidt Construction Inc. the bid for 124?
224
224
South 4th Street,
South 4th Street.
What's the amount of that again?
$26,180.
Just for a refresher, what was the bid for the other?
Yes, sir.
26,650.
26,650.
That'd be about $500 difference.
190.
No further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
One last update on this. The reimbursement from the state has been submitted for, so we should start receiving funding, well, the lump sum funding here pretty shortly. All the paperwork, all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted, we're good.
We didn't go over, was there an allotment from the state?
It was, we went over by $900.
About $900.
And that
You
was-
told us about that, didn't you?
It was a change order, that when the tanks were being pulled out, one of them, well, part of the requirements was the county had to go out there and check, make sure there's no fluid inside the tanks. If there was, that changed the whole dynamic of the testing and all that requirements by the state. If they were dry, essentially you could just pull them out and take them to the dump. But one of them, and Wayne and I went and checked both tanks with a stick, the county engineer, and they were dry. Well, when one of them came out of the ground, he went to load it on the trailer and it busted. Like the thing fell off the trailer, just like an egg, just split in half. Liquid went everywhere. So he had to take that tank to another site to air out for like 2 years. The state requires it to. So he had to take it all the way back to Abilene. So I said, man,
They must have been sloped, must have been sitting in there on the slope, that
Yeah.
all of us at one end or something.
that's what Wayne said. He said just very little. That big tank was just barely on the incline, and the liquid was at one
As
end.
big as they are, it's a whole lot of liquid.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Just slope it a little bit,
Mhm.
surprisingly won't stay
Like
in
a lot
it.
more when it comes out.
Oh, yeah, especially when you're not expecting it.
Yeah.
All right, very well. Well, I guess we can get started on demolition.
Yes, sir. Thank you, and I'll keep you up to date as this will.
All right, thanks, Bobby.
Thank y'all.
Do you want to start this? Start the checks and vouchers? I think Wade's gonna come in and give us an update here before too long on the jail meeting.
I'll go ahead and do it while I got here.
No.
Mexico. This Sunday. Yeah.
Mother's Day in Mexico is Tuesday.
If they just put them in the state, why would we need to know that?
Victoria Day in Canada.
Well, April has Easter Monday in Canada on it, so. Yep.
Now you know what that is.
Yeah.
Celebrate that Monday. In Domino.
The end of it. Here was the first day out here. Yeah, must be a month-long thing.
It is, that's what it says, 30-day deal of fasting.
There's nothing on that for you guys. Just all checks? Yeah, all checks.
Or Brad, I guess those can go on to you, those checks, so.
Ooh, I'm not much of a flipper and it's Tuesday.
I won't claim your part.
Well, I forgot about that deal on there.
Thank you, sir.
There's one back there.
That'll get you started, Norm.
this morning.
They actually put more money in it.
Did they?
Yep. I don't remember how much, a pretty good chunk.
They paid it back finally?
Well, no, it's not back. It's just that the state put more into it. Some of their reserve funds or something. Must have a lot of legislators getting ready to retire.
Read my mind. I just said they taking enough of it out.
That's right here.
Okay, ouch. I hate them, especially going into edge. And I even pre-drilled that one.
Right or left? Which way was it? Other way. You want to pull it in, right?
I don't want to tear it off the wall. I'll just squint.
If I'm not careful, I'll start
blinding people at the
That's
top of my
funny.
head.
That's funny for
Top of my head can be pretty shiny sometimes. That doesn't look right either.
Say HTC Foundation in there for you.
I would say
What is
Flint Hills Technical
Technical College.
College. Mm-hmm. Was it probably a donation for their
Yeah,
gala deal? That
Yeah.
was last week.
last Friday night.
No, Straughn. I'm not messing with all this stuff, because I'll get in trouble. Stop. Demolition of the rest of the Southfield property. So it's pretty amazing going by there when they had those tanks out. And they were backing those semis up on that hole. I was expecting to see one of them in there. It was a big hole. That was my relief. You don't like it? I've been gone for a couple of days. I got a fire in there.
You do.
Today looks to be a busy day at the courthouse. Not hard to find a parking spot out there.
Where? Today?
Yeah, out west. Yeah, Wednesday.
It's almost full.
Yeah, it's about packed.
I thought we basically kind of allotted a vehicle for Bobby to go to these meetings and stuff instead of taking his own vehicle.
We did, and there were some issues of checking out the vehicle. I thought we told him to pick a vehicle and just sign it out, and there was some
I don't know how she.
pissing and moaning that went on
Took a stab
about
at it.
that.
Sounds good.
Let me know if you need to.
So he started using his personal vehicle again.
Yeah, there's 8 or 9 trips on this one here.
I mean, realistically, if you're in that position, you've got all your paperwork and everything, is it easier to leave it in one vehicle and take off and go where you need to go, or is
Yes, it is.
or is it to transfer every day cotton picking time you leave, you know? So, in my thinking, it'd be better to have a vehicle that you come to work to,
Get in it.
get in it, and take off, so.
That's how it is where I work.
The county probably should have bought that old cop car down there, could have just used it at the county auction, or just kept it.
Just kept it.
There will be others.
There will be other.
But, I mean, once they get to a certain mileage, they need the time allowed.
In reality, if he's a vehicle like that, you can just use it in the county, it shouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah, if it breaks down, call the record and have them come pick it up and haul, you know,
Yeah.
haul it in.
And I realize something like it, you may not want to take it too far, but if it's local, if you go all day long with it, you know, I have a problem with
The old cop truck I got that I bought from Crow Moody, it still runs.
Yeah, they have a lot of, extras for the law enforcement package, so their radiators are designed to withstand a lot of
Heat.
Yep. So when Tom comes up the next time, switching vehicles, because I think he's got a rotation.
Mhm.
Once they hit a certain mileage, he's gonna need to switch them out, so maybe,
You keep one.
yeah.
Oh, there's no sense in not to.
Yeah, I think Road and Bridge took one of the sheriff's vehicles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we took it, instead of buying a new vehicle, we just gave them that one. It's not like they're going to New York and back in it every day. Like this says, they break down, you go get them, and if it doesn't cost much to fix it, if it does, junk it.
Speaking of New York, you'll have to get the sheriff to give you a tour of his new Bearcat vehicle. That's what the special response, their SWAT team, uses, and I looked at it, and it's a very solid, and useful asset for Coffee County and surrounding counties for, I mean, hopefully the need never arises, but you need to have something like that should the need arise.
Yeah, you gotta keep the officer safe responding to somebody else's issue.
And it happens around here. You know, they did some, training here a week ago, and they were doing it at the church, and it was sitting right outside, so I'm sure it got a lot of, comments. But they drove that thing back from Boston or somewhere in that
Yeah,
neighborhood.
somewhere up in there.
In fact, you'll probably see some fuel receipts at some point for that.
Out of country fuel receipts.
But it was quite a bit less expensive than shipping it.
Yeah, well.
Because shipping was
Mhm.
gonna be $6,500, $7,000.
8,500.
Is that what it was?
Yep.
My fuel price this morning was $4.83 a gallon. You're gonna see over $5, it's well, real quick for diesel fuel. In places, it already is.
Mhm. My dad said Colorado had diesel prices at like $5.23
Mhm.
over the weekend.
Yeah, especially if you're out in the middle of nowhere. They got you, what are you gonna do? You know. I think personally, there's a lot of price gouging going on, but
Mm-hmm.
and I hope that's investigated, and I hope they're punished to the max. But nothing will probably happen.
You know how much investigation,
Yeah.
If something like that's happening, I think contact the Consumer Protection Division of the Attorney General's office.
Mm-hmm.
They'll look into it, if there's action that needs to be taken, they'll take it.
You mean the state's attorney general's office, because federal attorney general's not even gonna look into it.
Well, it would be the states.
Yeah.
Come on. My finger's not working.
think you'll need me for a little while, right?
No, we got this and that, what, probably an hour, I'd say, 30, 45 minutes. Something like
Yeah,
that.
probably.
We'll get hold of you.
It's half full.
Yeah. We don't like, this here's over, put over
Yeah,
half.
30, 45 minutes.
Okay. I will be around.
I'll text you.
I don't think, you want me just to sit here and stare.
Do you have some business for us?
Yeah, once you're done.
So we could,
We can stop.
we can stop this and take care of Wade.
Yeah,
It's not
we
a
can
problem.
stop.
Oh, well,
We're gonna be here no matter what.
Yeah, it don't matter, you can do it now or do it later.
Gives us a break.
Whatever's convenient for you.
I mean, I know we've
And
got,
cramping.
to have another discussion with, emergency preparedness. You'll be involved in that as well, I'm assuming,
yep.
emergency management, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I figured you'd do that at the end,
We can,
once you're signing hand to the store.
yeah, okay. Do you wanna just wait and come back towards the end then?
Man, it doesn't matter. I can give you what I have right now. And I'll want to request one 20-minute executive session later, and that'll be myself and the board. But there's no rush on that. And if you're here all morning,
I'm sure we'll be here all morning. We got a lot to review, lot to do.
so I'll hand this out. This came directly to me, but I wanted to get it out to you. So the bond attorney who was here the other day, he sent this in an email to me. It's basically just and it's a memorandum from Gilmore and Bell in the top. That's all I'll read. It's the top. Memorandum provides information regarding financing alternatives with respect to the proposed construction of Coffee County Jail Law Enforcement Center. And it talks about statutorily what the options are. So, county public building, lease purchase agreement, public building commission, sales tax bonds. And it's, I think, my understanding from speaking with the bond attorney, it's more for informational purposes, not that any of those are the recommended route. It's just so you know statutorily what the options are at a very, very basic level, what each one of them means. So I think the main one that the county's looking at is probably option one, would be my guess. So,
Do you, and maybe this is for discussion later on, I don't know, but do you think we ought to plan on the bonds to be taxable for, to figure an amount of like 25 beds for ICE beds? Do you think a person ought to plan ahead like that?
well, I mean, I think it's a strategic decision based on what the board thinks is best moving forward for the county. I mean, the taxable versus non-taxable, and having the option later to potentially go back and change them if something happens or it doesn't happen. I mean,
Well, but I'm sure your bond attorney's gonna charge the county to do that. To go from taxable to non-taxable or non-taxable to taxable. I'm sure there's gonna be a
Sure.
sizable fee on that.
I mean, the fee structure is something that, you know, I mean, bond attorneys are like any other attorney. They're gonna get paid. That's how they stay in business. But I think my understanding is depending on what the project entails will dictate what their fee structure will be. And, you know, I don't wanna say that I know because I don't, because that's their area.
Well, I just kinda think, you know, for the first 2 or 3 years, you know, there might be a 30-bed capability, you know, for the first 2 or 3 years. We're going from basically 20 to 60.
So if I understood what was talked about the other day, for example, with Lynn County hadn't even entertained the idea of having federal inmates. So when they put their project together, that wasn't something that was considered. Now, you have a new administration at the presidential level, and that changed how federal inmates were detained, because the Biden administration said no more private detainment of federal prisoners, which then opened up the opportunity for county jails, as an example, to potentially make contracts with the U.S. Marshals. And I think my understanding is that's, if I understood the conversation, what happened in Lynn County, where they're having to go back and sort of change what they did from the beginning. Now, do I have any independent knowledge of that's what occurred? No, that's just my understanding from the conversation. So here it would be important to, if that is what the county is interested in doing, understanding up front what each option looked like, and that would be something you'd want for your potential bond attorney to sort of explain and maybe disclose in their assessment up front how they would, if you want taxable or non-taxable, what the impact would be for the county. And that's way outside my knowledge base. So in line with that, the first ad hoc meeting occurred Monday night at 6:30, and it was a very fruitful meeting. There were a lot of questions asked. Mr. Goldberg got up and sort of went through the project. Sheriff was up and talked about the current jail and what the issues are there and why it's needed. And I think that ad hoc committee will eventually provide some very important feedback to this board about what their opinions are. You know, I don't think it's an issue of whether the current jail is an issue, because I think we're past that at this point.
How is the group, are they mixed, some for, some absolutely against, and some sitting on the fence?
I couldn't gauge that. I think they were they asked quite a bit of questions, or quite a few questions related to why X, Y, and Z, and I think they're just fact-finding, and I think they learned some information that they didn't know, because there's a lot of misinformation out there too.
Mm-hmm.
And misinformation.
Still a lot of that out there.
Well, and that's why this committee is so important, because that misinformation gets cured by people who actually know facts.
Was there any questions that came up that we had not asked, or we were not aware of to start with? I know that was mentioned Monday. There might be some new questions come up, new subjects to discuss. Was there any?
I mean, I think there's some areas that need to be explored, but you know, you're talking about the first initial meeting, which is the kickoff. So some people. That's just a kickoff. Some people knew nothing about, other than the county's looking at a new jail. They didn't know how it got to the point where
we're at.
Putting it in the parking lot is the option. They didn't understand, or some didn't know what what the issue is with the current jail as it relates to the renovation, because those two are two different things, and what the cost is. Knowing what the cost is to have it shelled for potential expansion later, and why it's 60, why it's not 78, and vice versa. Those are things that can be explained, and, you know, those are the things that I think the public has a misunderstanding or misinterpretation of. Why, if the county decided to have a contract with the U.S. Marshals, why that would be advantageous to the county, and, you know, going back to way back in the beginning, hiring federal employees and having guards on the watchtower and barbed wire fences and that kind of thing. I mean, but all of that is misinformation that started the jail discussion, that sort of derailed progress. And I think having a committee of citizens who are from the four corners of the county can help to go to their neighbors and other people who they come in contact with, and then probably even more importantly from there is this board being good stewards of county taxpayer money. And I know that's one thing that's important to the taxpayers as well, to not make it seem like, oh, well, you know, $25 million is a lot of money. So why does the county need to spend $25 million for a project like this? What is the importance of doing so, and what does that look like? And, you know, the ultimate answer is, in my opinion, it's a community safety issue, and a measure that if you're going to continue building infrastructure in this county, I mean, that's a project that is as important, if not one of the most important in the entire county, because it's a community safety issue moving forward. So.
Now, I understand that they did take a tour of the jail, and there was some good, eye-opening, experience, I guess I should say.
There were a number, I mean, at the end of the meeting, so the meeting lasted about an hour and 45 minutes, and then, you know, at that point in time, the sheriff jumped in and said, we're gonna stop now. Whoever wants to go take a tour of the jail, you have the jail supervisor, the director of dispatch, and one of the sergeants from the jail there, for those who wanted to meet at the jail and take a tour. And I think there were 3 or 4 that took that opportunity, went over, looked, had never been in there, and things got explained. And I'd encourage anybody in the public who questions what the issues are and why it's needed, if it's needed, to take a tour of the jail.
I brought up, and maybe this is something that we can visit with Tom about, do you think maybe we could do like an open house, invite by districts, District 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and have a, like, open house, different, certain nights or certain month or whatever between now and then, and have a commissioner of the district present during the evening of their district's viewing?
It's probably not a bad idea. You just don't want to have too many people show up at one time. And, you know, the capacity to go in and have more than a handful of people is probably a problem. But if you went in maybe 15-minute waves, they could probably handle that. I don't want to speak for the sheriff.
Right.
If we have them, like, they would call in and kind of make a reservation, I guess you'd call it.
Nobody wants to reserve their spot at the jail.
I will say, people who I've talked to outside the commission meeting room who've had questions about the jail said Sheriff Johnson has had an open door policy. If you want to come take a look at the jail, give him a call and he'll set it up to where he'll arrange to have a tour. And there have been people that have shown up in my office questioning the project. And I said, I will walk you down to the sheriff's department, and I'm sure somebody will make arrangements to give you a tour if it's available. Now, if they're dealing with an issue in the jail, which you never know
Right.
when that's gonna happen, then there won't be any tours. But, yeah, the more people that go and check it out, the better.
Maybe a person could do a week per district, you know, per area. Maybe that'd spread it out enough. And maybe you wouldn't have anybody, I don't know. But I think it would be a good eye-opener for the taxpayers of the county to come and visit the jail and see what.
District's not a bad idea, but maybe you could do it A through G, and then G through, because that way each time you could have people from throughout the whole county.
You could, yeah.
They could, intermingle, like, whatever the people say, well, why do we need it? And there are what people say, well, this is, I don't know, it doesn't matter to me.
So I think the ad hoc committee will be meeting, probably my understanding is probably every 3 weeks or so. And that'll be on days that are convenient for them, and the plan is that for whatever reason, some may have conflicts, so you're not gonna have everybody show up at every single meeting, and that's, I mean, it's just gonna happen that way. But one of the things that's also being talked about is having a virtual meeting for the ad hoc committee, just to maybe, I think that's important as well. In between, or, with Zoom and some of the other technology that's out there, you can do that, you can cover a lot of ground, and someone can sit in their living room and also provide feedback and input in every way that's available to talk about and discuss this jail, and even further into the future to have maybe community meetings virtually that way too, because I think you may have more people attend that way than you would in person, just for logistics or people who can't make it. Or they can put it on in the background and listen and not interact at all. I have Zoom meetings on the attorney side where we have 900 to 1,000 people attending for a continuing legal education presentation, and historically, has that ever occurred? No, because it just wasn't something, we'd all meet in person. But COVID sort of changed the landscape of how people meet, and actually how they work too. They meet and work by Zoom now.
With that being said, this may sound ludicrous, but I mean, you're inviting the public to go tour the jail. Can you just do a video of the jail? And
I don't know how much, if you're not there in person, I just don't know how much it would really give you, the feel of the tightness, one person walking down the hallway or, whatever, and then you've got your jail supervisor, saying, there's 2 or 3 people in this area, 2 people with this inmate trying to get down this hallway, I just don't know what
It's somewhat artificial, but I think for those who can't make it, that would be something they could do. But, for example, walking through dispatch and actually walking and seeing where in the ceiling the sewer pipe just shattered, and where employees were taking sewage and holding buckets because that's what they had to do, and they were at the same time trying to protect documents that go through dispatch related to warrants and process service and everything else. I mean, how can you capture that on a video?
Yeah, exactly.
You
it
can't.
was just an idea.
No, I think it's something that should be done.
I'll bet it's on video.
We used to be live when we were downstairs. Could this ad hoc committee be live some night? It might be way out there and we don't even want to do it, but could they take questions and answers for that night?
I mean, I think I would have to defer to, and maybe at the end, my concern there would be, will the members of the ad hoc committee who are sort of digesting this would they be comfortable doing that, because questions would potentially be asked of them and they don't know the answers, and then we,
Okay, what about if with the sheriff and Goldberg and people with the answers would do that, be done sometime? Would that have answers? I don't know whether you would start getting a lot of bogus questions and stuff, or gripes, but I mean, you could push
I
a
think
button and they're gone.
well, I think at some point in time, a special meeting would need to be considered again, similar to what happened in September, where people can come and ask questions, but maybe also have that as a live meeting that's online or by Zoom, where people can come in and one of the key things, and you know, for people who send emails, and I've mentioned this before, the issue with sending an email to each of you as a board and then saying, I want you to respond, is if a response does occur, one, you potentially have an issue with the Open Meetings Act. Two, that's a serial communication. Two, and as you know, I've instructed, and my advice is don't respond to anything that gets sent to you, because for that reason, if anybody wants to ask a question, they need to get on the agenda and ask it in an open session, because it may be something that's of county-wide importance that everybody needs to hear that answer. And, you know, somebody who sends an email and there's accolades or criticism, that needs to occur in an open session, so that everybody has the ability to respond at one time in an open meeting. And that's one of the downsides to posting things and doing things live on Zoom, is people don't have to come in, and if they have an issue, then it's not aired in an open meeting. That's the whole point of transparency.
If you do that, though, could you have, say, okay, if you have questions about this, send us your email on this day, we will have a meeting, and we will answer only those that we have received.
You could have an email questionnaire.
Right, and people, so, well, you can't call in that night, or you can't email that night, but if you had one previous, those questions could be answered.
And that can be explored, but then if you get a number of questions and you don't answer all the questions, because who's vetting the questions?
Yeah.
Some questions will be right on point, some won't, and how do you pick and choose? And then someone will say, well, I asked this question, and you asked these questions, but these were all my questions. I gave you 5 questions, and you asked 3 of my questions. Why didn't you ask the other 2?
That's why you public meeting, have them show up.
Yep. Or if you have a Zoom meeting and people have the opportunity to get on by Zoom, and you say, if you're on Zoom and you identify yourself by name, then you can ask a question related to.
How many of the public out there are gonna be on Zoom?
You'd be surprised. I mean, so when we had that special meeting, and I sent out on the county attorney Facebook page sort of the discussion, it was a 4 or 5 page letter. Within, I don't want to say 24 or 48 hours, it had over 7,000 views. When Dr. Shell posted videos related to COVID, I mean, his videos would generate 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 views. So, I mean, I don't know if it's the best way to communicate, but it is a way that a lot of people are communicating.
And if you don't wanna be on video, you can call in on a number and be on there.
Well, you don't have to have your camera on. You can be plugged in and have a blank screen and just be voice only.
What I was saying, due to the internet, let's say slow, that way, if you wanna just call in, you can call in too and be on Zoom.
And I think, I mean, that would need to be explored a little more in detail, because then if you do it once, or you're not doing it all the time. And, you know, what, are you on Zoom in these meetings and people are calling in? I don't know.
I don't know how, you'd have to have somebody screen on the calls, you'd have to have somebody
It'd be,
policing it, you know, so to speak, or I think it could be potentially just a disaster, but
I think public meeting, you would have the serious people would show up.
Yeah.
People who are sincere, have serious questions, they would show up. The-
Well,
the
similar
tire-
to what they did back in September.
The tire kickers who don't care one way or another are not gonna bother.
I mean, if you recall, there were 70 people at that September meeting, September 21 meeting. And that's significant. And then 17 of them got up and made comments. So there is a county-wide interest in this particular project. I'd be curious what, you know, some of the people that got up and talked about their concerns at that point in time, if you had another meeting and they had the opportunity to get up and speak again, what they would say, because things have completely
change.
changed.
yeah,
You'd probably cut it in half.
Cadillac to Chevrolet.
So, but I think you bring up a good point, having the ability for people, if they want to show up and take a tour of the jail and have it, you know, because it's not just the Burlington,
Yeah, it's not just Burlington, Kansas, it's Coffee County.
and the four corners of the county will be impacted.
yeah.
So,
One of mine didn't show up, and they said it goes as late notice. I think it's very important that we get the notice out to the ad hoc committee
well,
members early.
I think there was a miscommunication, and I will take the blame for that. I had requested the list, and I think when I had requested the list, the impression was that I was gonna send out notice, and that's my fault. And I'll fall on the sword there, because I should have communicated better. And to those who are on the committee that didn't get adequate notice, I mean, that's my fault.
Very well.
But notice for the next meeting has already gone out. And
Okay, good.
I believe the next meeting's on the 25th, which I think is a Wednesday.
Yes.
So, learn from things that should have been done the first time, and
Well, it's gonna be a learning experience. You know, like you say, you're not gonna have everybody there all the time. It'd be great, but that's just not reality,
right.
you know, so.
But that's why you have such a large group, because you anticipate ahead of time that not everybody's gonna show up.
With all the school activities here for the next 5 weeks, it's hard to find open nights for everybody, and there's huge amounts of opportunities out there to present this program, but it sounds like some of those opportunities have to be discovered to make sure we're
Right.
not opening up a can of worms too, so.
I mean, it was communicated to the people who were there on Monday, and some of them said, if you do it on this day of the week, I'm not gonna be there because of X. So,
And say the next one's May 25th?
yes, May 25th.
Okay, that conflicts with the other community program meeting going on. I'll be at tonight, and I'll bring it up, and we can change that date.
What,
The one with all the communities involved for the
Community improvement.
community improvement,
It's the last Wednesday of every month.
but
which would.
I don't know if any of these people are involved in that or not, but,
I guess what I'm saying is what he's saying is they have that meeting in the basement.
well, this meeting isn't in the basement.
Okay.
Okay.
It was, at least the first one was at the library.
Okay.
So, I mean,
Do we have adequate numbers on this committee, or do we still need to select? I thought I'd visit with the ones that I selected, and if we wanna continue, that's great. If they'd rather step down for some reason, can we still appoint somebody?
I would say the more the merrier.
yeah, I mean, I think, you don't wanna insert people too far into the process, but I think initially when things are getting up and going, if I recall, Goldberg indicated that their Osage County group had 35 or something like that.
He mentioned 30-something.
And I think Coffee County has nowhere near that number. So there's some ideas on additional community members that probably would be good for the role, you know, because they cover a wide variety of areas. So for example, someone involved in the utility side of things who are, somebody who, you know, one of the concerns is this proposed facility is on the doorstep of the elementary school. So having some elementary school parents who can express their concerns and, you know, maybe there's misinformation there, or maybe they have some information that would cause things to pivot. I don't know, but if you don't have them there, then how do you know?
Right. Do we have anybody from the school represented?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yep. Headed in the right direction. And the hope is then this committee brings recommendations one way or another to the board. So,
Well, after all that discussion, I was gonna bring up later, but so I guess we need to decide as far as bond attorney. I mean, I think we said here in one of the meetings, said we'd like to use Joe Serrano, but
I think,
then Goldberg brings this gentleman in. I mean, so I guess we need to decide which way we're jumping.
Yeah, because we hadn't heard about this guy.
well, I think you're gonna, and I don't wanna speak for what's happening, but I thought, Mr. Serrano was gonna come back and make a presentation to the board, and might wanna verify that with Bobby, but, that I don't know.
Well, I think we kinda instructed him he needed to get with Larry and
Yeah, they
discuss
needed
things
to.
with him first,
They needed to meet up
because
together.
they had never met.
I think there's an email that went out that was stated that Joe needed to get in contact with Sydney or Mr. Goldberg, Larry.
So should one of us, as a commissioner, call him, speak to him, and see what his feel of it is? I mean,
Yeah, I can call him, it don't matter to me, you can, whichever you.
it's just suggestions. I'm up for whatever.
I mean, if he's going to, he needs to be at the next meeting, he needs to be at Monday's meeting. He can be.
Well, we can circle back to that a little bit later.
Okay.
And then, yeah, and the other thing I have is the executive session, so.
Okay. Do that at the end?
Is this the end of it?
No, we still got another
Another
box.
box?
Yeah,
It's a short stack though,
short stack, yeah.
not too much.
I'm gonna say we're gonna be less than an hour,
Okay.
signing, yeah.
I'm here.
You gotta read them. You gotta look at things. You gotta do your job, Bob.
Some of these are so common, I know
Yeah,
exactly
exactly.
what they are.
Yeah, like the utilities and the fuel bills, you just can't know what this
You
is.
can't argue them, can you? You can try, I guess.
And you got your attorneys.
I will bring up while we're signing, I guess yesterday we had some breakers pop in the health department. Called an electrician in, looked things over. Electrician found that there was quite a few little personal space heaters running yesterday. When he arrived, he was told that they was not running when they had the issue of electricity popping, throwing the breaker, but when the electrician showed up, the little personal space heaters were running. Now mind you, what was it, 68 degrees yesterday, almost 70?
So they turn them all on after the breaker popped in?
I'm assuming, I don't know. I don't know why they needed to be on in the first place. Modern Air has
Stressed at that.
cursed that those little heaters mess up big heaters. And people don't understand that if the thermostat says it's 70 and it's 74 degrees in there because of everybody's little electric heaters, it's gonna kick the air conditioner off.
And we all know how much electricity the little space heaters use.
So there will be a point in time when the electrician is he's gonna have to coordinate it with the health department and the sheriff's office. He's gonna have to kill the power and check each load and label each breaker, because there's certain things that are not supposed to go without electricity, and so those have to be on the generator backup site, and he's not sure that it is that way. This 5530 for Wilderness, that was for removal of the trees out here. Did they submit a bid on that?
They're the ones that submitted a bid, yes.
Yes.
Can you scan any meetings, the minutes, and see if they had if Andrea presented a price for Wilderness?
She did.
She did? That's what I didn't know, if it.
Yeah, she,
if
and
it's-
at that time, she said that they were the only ones
That submitted the bid.
would submit a bid.
I just wanted to make sure it was the right price.
Yeah, let me see if I can
Okay.
dig through these.
I'm gonna say what, it was probably February, one of the February meetings.
I agree.
I'm not sure it's been back that far.
I don't think it was back then.
Oh, we're out of April, so it might have been March.
I think it was probably the March, but I'm not gonna say what it
March?
is.
Uh-huh.
I think February's been too far back, but. Time
I
flies
can't
by.
find it in March, I'll look in February.
Fix the generator's mine's running. Yeah. Road and bridge, $101,000.
what's our backup for the county, the computer system and everything? And lights and whatever, if they have certain needs there, they might.
That's the old fire station, isn't it?
The old JSB building.
Yeah.
There's, I wouldn't say there's somebody there all the time, but there's somebody there fairly often.
Like the equipment's always running, or backup.
You all remember was when Wayne submitted the pricing for the quarries in the surroundings? It was APAC, Bettis, Nelson's, and Harshman's, correct?
You're talking about rock?
Rock.
Nelson didn't send a bid.
Nelson did submit a bid, the others did.
I couldn't believe they didn't send.
Bruce Davis was in on that too.
Bruce Davis was in on it too, so I forgot.
I remember Nelson didn't spend one this year.
Okay. Well, he doesn't have a quarry in the county right now.
Yeah, I'm not
The one
sure.
at Lebo's been unoperated for 5 years now. It's still open, but it's unoperated.
When you're reading, some of them get pretty interesting.
Yeah, it does.
You know, it's, a lot of repetition.
You got a place you're throwing them away?
He's just setting them here, and
Okay.
stacking them there. Thank you.
Bob's got the last one right now.
Alright. I'll probably watching you watch me.
Yep. And I'm not seeing anything in the minutes about that 5530.
You might check January. When did we buy that place? Is it prior to
First
the end of
year.
the first of the year?
We bought it
You might check
the last-
January.
The last day of the year, didn't we?
Or hell, it could be in April. No, I think they was a month behind.
But
They
yeah,
was a
we didn't
month out.
do
A month or two out, Wellness was.
Yeah.
It might have been January.
Did we make a motion to accept that bid? If not, it won't be in the minutes.
I thought we did.
I don't recall whether we made a motion to accept the bid or not, since we only had one.
How much was the bid?
Almost 6,000. It's coming up.
Well, because.
5530 was the bill.
Because that's underneath they didn't have, if it's just a
Underneath
regular
10.
deal, it's under 10.
It may not have been
And
on.
it
I don't-
could've just been done without,
I'm not sure we moved to accept the bid, but I don't recall. I can't believe it went all the way back into January, but I don't.
No, I don't think we did make a motion to
I-
it. She just said they were the only ones, we said, okay.
Yeah, I don't, and without a motion on it, it won't probably be in the minutes.
Mhm.
I think you're right, Tom, I think we just said, okay.
Motion.
Yeah, I don't see it in January either.
Okay. I'm sure Andrew probably has it.
What department did that come out of? The check?
It's been in
It's in this stack right here.
courthouse, I'm assuming.
Who is it?
It's within the last 4 or 5 vouchers.
Tree service, $5,530.
Yep.
Maintenance. So Andrea's income.
Yeah, Andrew should have the bid.
So it was in under Andrea, so, and it was, well, she's not really a department head though either, we are,
Right.
Yeah.
so. Well, they sent the invoice on 4/11, so they just did it not very long before that.
Yeah. I thought they was several weeks out. I might be all wrong. Maybe, I thought they was even a month out, maybe. It might be in the correspondence down below on the meetings too, from them. They send us a bid, it should be in the correspondence probably. There's the first one.
That's the first.
Sorry.
Yeah, no big deal. I wasn't gonna interrupt you, endorse those checks.
I had it upside down, so
Are you done signing, Jesse?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Last I paid
$2.30 a gallon
What's that?
propane.
propane.
I just had him come by yesterday. I didn't see what it was.
Who's it, which is it, Moore,
MFA.
MFA? Thought we quit using it.
I did too.
You ought to be able to look online and see what
I thought we were going in county with
their
it.
county, what their price is.
MFA's got, they've got a storage tank in Cali, so.
It's not
I'm
quite-
not
it's
sure
not
who
quite
the-
like a business, so.
I understand that, yes. They've got a new driver service down in this area, and I had Didn't have the opportunity to meet him the other day. Mark Garland was a driver, and he lived in, east of Burlington, 3 miles, but he's went to Woods County Co-op.
Our truck up at Waverly Lake. Woodson County.
Pardon?
Just seems high.
I thought we had decided a year or so ago that we were going to go
We did.
in county all the time. What department was using that? What department was that?
No, I'm sure it was Road and Bridge.
It was.
It was?
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
Was
no,
it?
that's still in the
Well,
county.
Emergency management.
Yeah, emergency management.
That would be up at JSB. So maybe we need to remind them.
Wonder if that a leak tank? Surely not.
Be cheaper to buy a tank and we
Yeah.
go where we want it. If it is a leach tank.
Has the city of Burlington started working on that water line that they should do the last week in April?
Well, we talked to Stan that day, two Mondays ago. What did he say? They'd moved that to the,
Last week in April when it's supposed to be done.
I think they moved it again.
they moved, and they're gonna start in the evening?
Evening.
Start working on it in the evenings, the last week in April.
Still a couple days.
Well, I think that, for some reason, I think they was gonna do it Friday.
Now,
For some reason, I was thinking it was originally for the 24th.
I don't recall.
24th.
I kind of thought it was gonna be on Thursday or Friday because since the road and bridge basically don't work much on Friday.
Is that right?
Off, that it would not have affected it much.
I didn't realize Burlington had a 12-inch line down in there.
Gotta have a wrench in my pocket.
What size?
5/16.
What are you doing?
Working on the lawnmower.
Oh, say, what do you do something that small?
Trying to get the throttle adjusted on it. It was irritating me. I didn't think it was running fast enough.
that's what the governor.
Messing with the governor. And then I realized it was the belt. The belt on the deck was lacking contact.
Gee whiz.
You can quit sending them down at any time.
Good. I think the road and bridge invoices are less than what they've been.
Time for something.
I even told that person.
They usually just say, oh yeah, that's right, I forgot.
I forgot. I give up.
Here's the difference in boys. 2 minutes of this, $28.27 for a meal. 3 boys here somewhere, $50.96. The difference in people. Question here, we sent a few people to Chanute to some training. We knew we were gonna be there and we knew they were gonna eat. Why didn't we just send a credit card with them instead of each one of them having to pay for it and have to turn in reimbursement for it? When we know we're sending them to something like that, we're sending quite a few people out of the same department.
Well, thing about a credit card, A, you gotta get it to them, B, you gotta make sure you get it back.
Right. But if you give somebody a credit card, wouldn't you be darn sure that you got it back?
Well, yeah, I would. I would give him that credit card though.
You're fantastic.
I've done that, and I've learned from my past.
It's very easy to abuse it, but
Not saying the individual would do it, but. I like reimbursements because of paper trail, personally.
Yeah, I'm not, I just,
another 10 years, you probably won't be able to do anything with a paper trail.
Be all cryptocurrency.
It'll be digital.
Mhm.
It'll be federal digital.
Mhm.
At this rate,
just I acquired a bunch of keys a while back, and I've got a whole bunch of Kenworth and Peterbilt keys in them. Can I come up and drive in your truck?
Sure.
If any of them fit, can
Sure.
I just drive off
You
with it?
drive off, it's okay. Especially the ones that are just like sitting there.
We'll be moving, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you probably you'd have to give me the ones that's low on fuel, and then I'd have to put fuel in and bring them back.
You're the Muffy, I'll appreciate it.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I have not.
All right. Didn't say you.
He said to stop passing and stuff, so.
Okay.
We don't have anybody in the county.
What is it? Oh, septic tank, JSP.
We don't have anybody in county.
Actually, we don't.
We don't.
I don't think so, not
Jesse?
septic suckers.
I'm good. I'm not starting anything new. Who was it, A1? No, I don't think it was A1.
Pump and go or something like that.
Where do we go?
I'm just saying. I just
Is
said,
that that one?
yeah. No.
No. Right. Yep. Gotta go.
Gotta go.
Gotta go.
But none of my knowledge, there is nobody.
Yeah, I don't think since this guy out here moved out, I don't think there's anybody in the county that does it. What's Rush Truck Center's deal in? What is Rush Truck Center's deal in?
Peterbilt.
Peterbilt?
I'm thinking they're in the old International dealership in Topeka, I think.
I think you're right.
Who's signing all these vouchers for road and bridge anyway? Whose signature is that?
Dues for something, Bob, but I'm not.
No, whose signature is it? Wayne's not signing them anymore, is it still working? Who's signing all these vouchers for road and bridge?
I can't
I
read
would
it.
say that is,
Who's been
who
authorized?
brought them in?
I don't know, but-
I didn't see.
Rudy brought him in.
but who's been authorized to sign this?
That's like Jeff Byer. Jeffrey Byer,
Is that Jeffrey Meyer?
I think so.
Alright,
Can't answer, Bob.
I just was curious, I couldn't recognize it, the signature didn't look right. 'Cause Wayne's always signed them before.
Can we start our own association and collect dues?
It's called GoFundMe page.
Well, that was the last of the,
Oh.
That one was the one that you were after.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I thought it
Is
looked like it, so I was like, I might as well ask
Maria, is
him
that part we
about
could
it.
talk?
Yeah.
Rather than have to call you and make
There's
you come back.
Wichita,
to one.
Emporia, Dodge City, Liberal, and maybe Garden City.
And that's it, on that bridge. Now the new one. Good, you got that covered up. Keep that burden covered.
Why?
he's a Wildcat fan.
You didn't know any better?
Your truck's on the road, trucks on weekends.
My pneumatics on. Pneumatics on. We got proper crews running every weekend. Several different directions.
Is Barry John Deere?
Berry tractors.
Yeah. How many hours taking a 18-wheel driver running?
11 hours of driving,
11 hour drive.
14 on duty, total on duty time.
Is there any limitation on hours per week?
70, we run 70 and 8, 70 hours and 8 days.
You use electronic logs, don't you?
Oh yeah, got him.
I don't fall underneath that guideline.
Can't get around them, can you?
Not really.
Shorted out.
Mhm.
Now, if you've got an old enough vehicle, you can get around that. Or you take a new truck and put an old engine in it.
Yep. That's why they're making the dashes computerized. Makes it harder to do that.
Will a cab outwear a engine?
Will the cab
The chassis outwear the engine, the cab instead? Or by the time the engine has enough miles at 6 million, is a cab jump?
Oh, it just depends on what type of truck it is. Your 379s, the old Pete's, they tend, because of their hinge systems, they tend to wear out a little faster than, just because of the road hammer, road use.
There's a lot of them out there.
There's a lot of them out there, there is. A lot of them out there. It seems like your extruded plastic, or not your extruded plastic, but your more aerodynamic cabs seem to last a little longer than the old rigid ones. These roads today are just horrible. All over the country. And with them wanting to go to electric vehicles, the road tax is gonna be non-existent, so you're not going to have that fund to repair your roads.
Oh, they'll figure out something.
Yeah, they're gonna charge us fuel mileage tax.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You don't get over 6
They'll
miles a
figure out
gallon, they're
something.
gonna tax you on it, on your carbon, on your emission, like an emission tax, I guarantee you it's coming.
They'll figure out something to get your money.
They'll charge us more.
Eagle Creek Quarry,
Mm-hmm,
that's the one over in Hartford,
mm-hmm.
that's what they call that.
Bruce Davis's new one. On Derbyshire's ground. What way say he's gonna be wanting a 20-minute executive session?
Mhm.
Go ahead and argue with this thing now instead of later.
Do we need to set a time with Amber to meet?
She
Yeah.
here tonight.
I'm assuming.
I told Wade 15, 20 minutes, he said he'll be here, do his, and then have her be 11:30.
Should work.
No, we're waiting on Tim to take a quick break.
Yeah. We need a break, have a little break. You wanna get a hold of Amber and have her
At 11:30?
meet us at, executive room, executive session at 11:30?
Yeah, I can give her a call.
You're slowing down, Tim.
you want?
I'll take them.
I didn't want to crowd you.
They heard you were coming, so they left.
Usually happens, or did they hear he was coming and they
Oh,
left?
no, we didn't know Tom was coming.
Good morning,
So
Tom.
we stayed here.
Probably sensed it.
Uh-oh.
Do her upright, I don't wanna have to walk away.
Yeah, if you're gonna make a knot, make a good one.
Yes.
You on break?
I need one
Well,
after
we're
this.
we're waiting on Tim is what we're doing, so yeah, the rest of us are on break.
Would you hurry up and sign stuff so people can leave, Tim? And apparently you're the holdup here.
I'm working on it.
Oh.
Such a bizarre map.
I'll agree with that. If you're looking on the left side,
There's the left side.
district,
We found it.
I don't like that.
They're that way for a purpose.
Well, I don't like the purpose, I guess. But figure out another way.
I think whoever decided did a fantastic job when they figured that out, how to do that, take it from 3 to 5 and keep it equal.
How long ago did that happen? Do you know?
About 84,
Around 84 is when it happened.
when they won the lottery.
'78.
78.
78 when they did it. We were the first to go, first in the state to go.
Right.
I thought it was 84 when they went online, but I'm wrong.
It's a long time.
So I was in Iola when the city council for the city of Iola went from 3 to, what did it have, 9 plus mayor now? Which is quite the change. I think it's 9, maybe it's 7. And then you have the top half of the county, it looks like someone took the square and shook it. And the top is off center. Yeah.
We went to countywide road system in 1980. And I remember in 1979 on New Year's Eve, came in one of the bigger snowstorms we had ever had. And the county all the township equipment was still out in the townships. The township employees were no longer working for the townships. In a sense, they really weren't working for the county. It was a mess for a few days. They got that figured out. The construction of the plant was going at that time too.
Keeps things interesting, right?
Yep. The road going east out of the plant, I spent 2 days pushing snow out of that road with a D7 dozer, 2 days in a row, try to get it open.
79?
It would have been an 80 then,
80.
the January of 80.
After completion, I'll need 3 minutes.
We'll give you time on the way down.
Thanks.
So I offered to get over here to my office and write the drafts this morning. But it's deferred to this afternoon.
I tried to, tell the girls I'd take them out to lunch, and they've all got something else going on, so I'm gonna take them out tomorrow.
I think that's it.
Get the hell out of the road, I've never seen you move that fast. He's running. I'm gonna get a hold of Joe and just see if I can meet with him for 30 minutes. I think it would be, and I'll probably express to him my concern on those 2 facilities. I would like to see it favorable. I'm sorry, I'd like to see it favorable. But yeah, I almost bet they wouldn't supply that to you. I know one of the, board members, Danny Young, right back of my hand, worked with it when I was at the co-op. He drove a truck around the
I was
loop.
out crappie fishing yesterday afternoon for a
And
while.
I bet he would get it, poor guy.
Dabbing around this brush pile.
It should be. It should be.
I hadn't caught anything in an hour and a half. I was dabbing around this brush pile. Bobber went under and I set the hook. It was the biggest largemouth bass I've seen in a long
Really?
time. Took me for a ride. I wasn't ready. I only got 6-pound test line on there.
There's good times, though.
Yeah.
Big fish on light tackle, that's fun. Makes you work at it.
Got him up to the top and he jumped up, laid sideways, and there was on again.
Yep.
I like being in my kayak, catching one like that. You can actually blow you around.
Yeah, yeah. Won't sleep at night, you keep drinking all that coffee.
I was around coffee, I probably started drinking it when I was 9 or 10 years old. How's the day going for you, Tom?
Just playing catch up, taking phone calls, finding information out. Apparently this county attorney tasked me with looking at some stuff, and now I've done nothing but take phone calls from people, and things he has me do, it's just, I do them all, I don't know. Didn't say no to it.
Here, Clarkson was a low bidder at the airport yesterday.
Pardon me?
So I hear Clarkson was a low bidder at the airport yesterday.
Oh, really? Well, that's good. Local contractor.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Mr. Knack,
How are you?
okay, I mean, drinking coffee and tea, or what?
Tea, all tea,
Oh, tea, all tea.
all tea,
I got you.
all tea. Whoever.
Well, I had the sheriff come up because you had questions that are probably more specific to the sheriff. He couldn't, as he just said, he couldn't say no to me. So, I had him come up here and he can answer your questions about setting things up and what his position is. And then he was he led the ad hoc committees on Monday night, so he can give you his feedback on how it went as well.
We were just kind of discussing, do you think maybe ought to, I don't know, I just thought of do it in districts, like in our districts, people in District 4, 1 week, and to like tour the jail.
Absolutely, if they
You know.
want, absolutely.
I mean, advertise it on, social media, put it out in the paper, you know, stuff, and I just trying to bring awareness, and your guys' staff, I'm just trying to spitball ideas to bring awareness to the situation that we have and why we're trying to change and we're not trying to spend money,
Well, and again, please, I'm not disrespecting you. Do you want me to stand at the podium, or can I sit? I mean,
You sit.
Yeah, I'm
You
not
sit.
here trying to disrespect you by sitting here. So, the meeting was I thought was a great success. I can tell you, and I think talking to the others after it was over with, there is nobody that does not believe we need the jail. That issue is moot now. We beat a dead horse and they realize it. We even had some people come in, and I offered to bring them in the jail after the meeting. We had a group come in after the meeting, when it was over with, go through the jail, and they walked out and said, we're done, it's time to find us someplace. So, I've always said, and I've said openly here, I mean, right when we were downstairs, I turned around to the camera and said, anybody wants to come to jail, you're welcome to come in. And that's still, it's open door, as long as we don't have something serious going on at the time, or a bookend, you know, we can take them through. So that's open door, I've always been that way. I mean, the taxpayers are paying for it, they're welcome to come to and look at it, we have nothing to hide, we're more than welcome to show them our successes and the failures that's going on right now. But that being said, you know, like we all spoke about when this was over with, what we need to focus on now, especially as committee, is our funding and the actual plans that we're going to have for the facility itself. There is nobody in this group or what we've talked to that don't deny that we need the jail. But whatever you decide to do, if that's what you want me to do, we can put it on Facebook again. I can, you know, again put it out there. Starting July, the first week of June, June and July, every week we're going to be at a town hall meeting. We've already set it up with Goldberg. They're agreeable to it. I wanted to be in every town, at every library, for 8 weeks straight. So right before the August 2nd election, they can come to a town hall meeting, and I'll be in every town. Nobody can say that they didn't get an opportunity, because there'll be at least 6 to 8 meetings, and they could meet surely one of those, you know, before the August 2nd election. We're getting ready to start in 2 weeks. We decided to wait a couple of weeks to get some final things finalized, but the media software that Sydney Goldberg has made up is ready to go, except for a couple of things as far as funding goes and our language we want to use for our ballot. Other than that, it's ready to go to be put out on our Facebook page, blanket out to the public, everything. So that's right in turn where we should be at, I believe. So again, if you feel that again, we want to do a blanket, tell them to come in and look at it, we can do that. I'm sending out to every committee member today, I'll do that personally, going to send them the paperwork that we got from Goldberg that you guys have all seen, and the schematics and the renderings. This is out to every one of them, so if there was a few people that weren't there due to other obligations, they'll get whatever everybody else got,
so they can have it to be caught up to speed, and they can call me with any questions beforehand, before the next meeting. But the next meeting is gonna be May 25th. We'll do it right here again in Burlington with the committee. Again, like I said, I'm gonna call and email everyone today, this afternoon, and, we'll do this again, and we'll focus this time not on what we currently have in the jail, but what the new system's gonna look like, some of the drawings and what the renderings and what we feel we need in the new building, and then talk about some funding, because that's one of the big questions that was asked by most of the people that were there, was how we were gonna fund it, and of course, we said, that'll be brought up at the next meeting. Right now, we wanna focus on why we need it and where it's gonna be. So, they understood that, they asked questions, we answered all their questions, and everybody said, again, they said that was eye-opening to us. We didn't realize, of course, some of the misinformation that got out there, to begin with, as you all know, you were at some of the same things I were. 244 inmates, what are you gonna, there's never been 244. Never been that, you know. And so we issued that. And of course, the question, what about these federal inmates? Guys, you're blowing something out of proportion here. We explained to them about federal versus state and all the classification schedules. But we didn't know that. That's something the public, we've been telling you that since day one, people. You just need to, you know, pay attention to what's being said. And you will, because now you're in this small group. But there's a lot of things that we've been saying since day one that's, oh, we didn't realize that. So it was very, very good. Everybody was very informative. There were great questions being asked. Didn't you think so, Wade? Yep. So I thought it went well. People looked at the drawings, the renderings, and again, these folks are not stupid. They were looking at stuff saying, pointing out, saying, so tell me about this, or why is it 30 feet away from a building, you know, and we explained to them fire codes and stuff like that. Okay, so I was very, very pleased. I was stressed because I was worried about it. You know, gave a little PowerPoint presentation showing current pictures of our old facility and what some of the new ones would look like, and I was just stressed about the first meeting. It was very good. I was very happy.
Well, I don't wanna complicate, I don't wanna make your life more hectic with meetings and stuff coming on by having certain weeks that certain areas are coming in to view the jail, and I mean, maybe we don't need to.
This is a suggestion.
It's just a suggestion.
So here, in my opinion,
Okay.
so I'll be more than happy today, I'll get one of the girls to put on our Facebook page that again, you know, we're in this jail process, we started having some ad hoc meetings, getting more information out to the public, we're gonna be having town hall meetings. Please come and view the jail, anytime, day or night, come talk to one of the jail staff, and we're more than happy to walk you through. I can do that and leave it a blanket for anybody. I've done that in the past, I'll be more than happy to do it this afternoon. That's no big deal,
Yeah.
really.
I think it really helped raise awareness more so throughout the county.
I am more than happy to walk people through there anytime, day or night, to see what we have.
You know, the PowerPoint that we had back in September, I think was very good, as
Yeah,
far as
this-
looking at the jail. But it is still not the vision that you see when you see it in person.
Absolutely.
So seeing it in person is, really adds power to it.
Yeah, and like I said.
Much better than just a PowerPoint.
Yeah,
And not to be critical of PowerPoint.
No, we condensed it a lot, because again, I told Larry, and I told everybody else too, at 8 o'clock, we're walking out of here. I do not want to make this first meeting till midnight, you know, when people are dragged and not wanting to come back to learn. And so at 8 o'clock, I said, we're done. You know, we've gone through the basics of everything, why we're here, why you're here, the importance of you being here, and the project. And a couple of them said, hey, we got some questions we want to answer. And we stayed till about 8:20, you know, and answered their questions. And I said, everybody okay? Yep. You're going to have questions when you get home. Write them down, bring them back to the next meeting so we can address them. And everybody was happy with that. They were out by 8:25. We got stuff cleaned up, stuff put away. We were gone out of there by 9:15. No problems whatsoever.
One person I had contact with that's on the committee made contact with me again last night, and he basically changed his opinion that quick.
I can tell you that, again, that there were a couple of people that I spoke to personally that have said, Tom, I'm not for this. And unbeknownst to me, they got put on the committee, which was great. That is what my job is to do, is tell them facts. I'm not to tell anybody what you should do or how you should vote. I'm going to give you the facts, and it's up to you to decide. And when we left, two of those naysayers were saying, you guys gotta have this done, how do we get it done? That's how do we get this paid for and not break the county? That was their statement. How do we get paid, how do we get this paid for and not break the county? So, again, I'm not kidding you guys, I keep saying this, I was very happy when I left with the people that were there and the comments that were made.
That's the key why this committee is so important, because there is so much negative information that is not accurate, factually, spread out there right now, that's the only information that people have gotten from the beginning. And once people actually get facts that match up with what's actually occurring, then they have a good barometer to make a decision. And like Tom said, I know some of the people that are on the committee that they were against. They have indicated to me they were against. But when the facts match up with reality, I think that will cancel out a number of those people. And it's unfortunate that you're going to have those naysayers out there that throw out misinformation, throw out, for whatever reason, and it happens everywhere. That's why this is important. With that being said,
Let me talk about one thing here. We talk about people coming to the jail. So some individuals wanted to come to the jail last night, and they came to the jail. Troy stayed out late to be able to take them through it, plus Josh Norris, one of the sergeants on the jail, was here to walk them through. So they brought them in, gave them a complete overview of the jail, walked into our Sally Port, that's now our storage unit, and they about had a fit. You know, that it never should have got to that point, blah, blah, blah. But they take them back to the cell block, and they're adults, so we can take them on the cell block. So adults go in the cell block, open the door, and we open up a cell, one of the cells it's a 5-man cell. And we just said, hey guys, we're showing some of the public, you know, our facilities here, and inmates acknowledged what they were doing, and they closed the door, and we walked out, and the jailer said, Troy, if you had to go unlock that cell and move those guys because somebody's upset, what do you think about putting hands on 5 people? And they said, that shouldn't happen. They understood exactly when you open a door and you're face to face with people, how unsafe it is to you be unlocking a door and opening a door and they're there in your face. So they immediately, just that aspect alone, saw the safety concern there. So I thought it was very well accepted. We put the facts out, and that's all we put out was the facts. And hopefully the next meeting goes just as well. Sorry to interrupt.
Nope. And I told Tom that, you know, to those who didn't get notified that was my fault, and it's not gonna happen again.
Yeah, it's not either, it's not his fault. So, like I said, I'll personally call people today, and I've already had a couple of, I put out some feelers to say, hey, who didn't get notified? And I've already had a couple of phone calls and said that they may have got an email, they didn't check their email, you know, they had a missed phone call maybe, but I'll personally call everybody this afternoon and send everybody an email. And again, the ones that were there, we already sat down on our phones last night or Monday night and told people it was gonna be the 25th, but I will personally call everybody or email everybody today.
So these are the renderings that are being presented to the ad hoc committee members. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different pages. It has the outside layout that you've seen, the inside where the jail portion will be, the
Basement.
ground floor remodel, the basement floor allocation plan, the remodel of actually one of those was the remodel of the current jail, and then just pictures of what it might look like. The only reason I mention that is not only are these available for the ad hoc members, but I would suggest we keep a copy in the clerk's office, in my office. Sheriff will have a copy, so that any member of the public that wants to come in and take a look, so they can see what it looks like, so they feel like they're fully informed as well, that they have access to the same thing.
Could we stick that on the county website?
I mean, it's probably possible. I don't know how you get something.
Yeah, I don't know either.
It's easier probably to come in and.
I have it.
You have it?
So, I got remember the other 2 forms, the April 22nd or March 29th and April 2nd, the stuff that Larry brought you? I have that digitized, and I called Sydney this morning and said, I tried to scan it in, it's too big to get on our scanner, could you send me the digital copy of it? So I just got emailed me in the last hour, the digital copy of that, so I can attach that to an email to be sent out like I was gonna tell you to the other members. I have all that, I have copies of everything we gave out in a stack. Anybody that comes in can get the exact same thing that the ad hoc committee got Monday night.
Is there a way to, I mean, and this is a suggestion, to go down to the appraiser's office and have printed out at least maybe 2 or 3 of these that aren't the pictures, and display them down in the lobby, so if somebody comes in, they can go up and look at it and have it available to look at it.
I can do that this afternoon. I can go out and ask, what I did last time is I went to Kara and asked her to print them out on plotter size paper, so she can make me a map size, you know, of these pictures of this stuff, and I've got some double adhesive backers, and I can go out here and put them down on the wall if you allow me to put them downstairs. It won't tear up the paint, you know, it's the old command strips to pull away, and I can put all those up downstairs. Look like wallpaper when I get done as much stuff as I'll put up for you.
Fine with me.
Okay, I'll get it done this afternoon. Just like when we went to the fair last year, we brought this stuff. We had them up on easels, and people were coming by looking at it. They ought to be able to walk in here, and that's a great idea. I didn't make it. I'd like to say I made that idea, but they ought to be able to walk in at any time and see that. We've got nothing to hide.
Would that be good to put that up in all the libraries?
To put this stuff up in the libraries?
Yes, same thing.
Same thing.
Again, I can ask, the question is that other entities coming in need some of that space, like when we went the other night, they've got their own stuff put up, and there's not a lot of space on the walls to put up stuff like that.
Could we just make this copy available for each library?
That piece. Like
Oh,
paper.
yeah, I can take copies in there.
Have a countertop, they could.
What about sending it to each city council?
Yeah. Or they can display it.
They can do what they want with it, but at least they'll have it.
Mhm.
The libraries are a lot of community, people go into the libraries. And I would almost bet they would all make arrangements, space to put that up.
I can sure call them and say,
Yes, it would.
I mean, this is a public awareness campaign at this point, so anybody who you can get it out to, the libraries, the city councils, I mean, they can choose to do what it would, with it what they want, but at least they have it.
I'll get started on this afternoon.
And at the same time, put a little gift on them, that you welcome anyone who wants to come visit, just call you and make arrangements.
Yeah, I'll put that on our website pages and everything else, but, yeah, I'm hoping everybody realizes I've always had an open door, but, yeah. Not an open jail, but we'll let you in. Might not let you out, we'll let you in, yeah. We'll keep the light on for you. But, so, let me talk a little bit about some other things, talk about the jail. So, you know, I've been here almost 30 years, been in law enforcement 33, and one of the issues, you know, we talked about up here is that this year was a year that we had to raise our prices got raised on our food service in the hospital. And it's something that a lot of times I take for granted, and I think other people do too. But, you know, part of my duty as the sheriff is making sure that my people downstairs in that jail are taken care of, both their safety, their health, and everything else. One of those things is food. And it's bad to say, but I've been here all these years, and I don't know that I have ever eaten a meal from the jail. Never. And I decided that I was going to have a meal. I'm going to have a breakfast, lunch, and dinner at some point over the next 30 days. How am I supposed to judge when an inmate says they aren't getting enough food or quality food if I'm not big enough to eat it? So this morning, I came in at 6 o'clock, told the jail to order me a meal, and when they got meals, I was fed a meal this morning. I can tell you right now, I won't eat the rest of the day. It is a gigantic meal. Our meal at breakfast this morning was a great big omelet. Had sausage, ham, green peppers. It was like a Denver omelet. There was a biscuit with ham and egg on it, so an egg sandwich, and another biscuit with butter and jelly, and 2 big sausage links. And so I could not eat it all. Could not. And it was a very good meal. So afterwards, They got everybody fed about 9 o'clock, whatever. In fact, Wade came down to talk to me earlier, to bring me up here, I guess, and I was in the jail. I went back to jail and I talked to every inmate. And I introduced myself, they didn't know me, and I said, I'm here to talk to you about your meals. Nobody said they didn't like the food. Everybody says the food portions are gigantic. In fact, everybody says we wish the evening meal was more hearty than the breakfast. You know, they're saying that the lunch dinner is a big portions, and the evening portion isn't as big, and so they get hungry between that 12-hour, from 6 p.m. until 6 a.m. But said that, in fact, one of them said, this is a 5-star jail when it comes to food. So, you know, I just want to say that publicly. I applaud the hospital. The food was good this morning. And I just want you to know that there's going to be a bill for one more meal, and that's mine, when the bill comes in, because I felt that I just need to see what they were eating, with that being said. But I talked to all the inmates. I was told later that they appreciated me coming in and talking to them, and, you know, and being concerned with them. But did you hear that Tom was in the jail eating? Tom was in the jail eating this morning. So.
Hospitals always serve good food, I thought. I liked it when they were open to the public. I mean, I'd
Yep.
go there for lunch occasionally.
Yep, I did too occasionally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's always been good.
Yeah, but it was very good this morning. There was nobody, like I said, in fact, somebody said, oh, you missed a better meals Wednesday. It's not, whatever it was, you know. So they know what days they like their meals, and said, oh man, biscuits and gravy, I think it's Wednesday. You need to get that breakfast, you know. So, like I said, I just wanted you to know that I am trying to make an effort. You know, sometimes the jail gets forgotten, sometimes people forget that we do have inmates in there, but part of my duty, and you guys know that, part of my duty is to make sure that they're taken care of, and so, just want to let you know, if you heard that Tom was eating jail food, I was. I ordered it up because I want to have some, so.
And the sheriff can probably answer this better than I can, but back when I was in Allen County, the sheriff at the time, Tom Williams, had a discussion about me with, why do you feed inmates? Why do they get very good meals?
Yeah.
And the theory behind it, and I think it's a corrections theory, is if they eat well, then they don't cause problems in the jail. Because some on the outside say, well, why do they eat better than I eat?
Yeah. So, again, just, you know, common sense. If you're fed well, you know, you're not hungry, then you're not fighting over food. And if you don't think that there used to be years ago people fighting over food, you're sadly mistaken. There is a true, real world in the jail. You know, you're in a jail situation where you may be hoarding food because you don't get enough, you think, and you don't have money for commissary, but your buddy over there's got a fruit pie, you know, and some Kool-Aid drink, and there's going to be a fight over who's the man, who's the boss in that pod, and who's going to get food. That's not happening. Those guys that are ordering their commissary are ordering sweets. You're seeing the ding-dongs, the Twinkies, the Ho-Hos, you know, the powdered drink mix to put in their water or something, because their meals are well over capacity as far as calorie intake. There's jail standards that Larry talked to you about, and we've known about since you have a jail. But that hospital dietitian that's doing our meals, there is a minimum standard they must maintain. Believe me, there is no doubt they're getting their caloric intake with these meals so far. Now, so I'll see what I'll pick a day and get a lunch, and then one of these days I'll stay late and take an evening meal. But yeah, it is a different world back there. So we're just trying to make sure that everybody's healthy and safe, and you serve nasty food, you're gonna have people complain. You're gonna have people losing weight. I don't know, Randy used to years ago, when I first came to Coffee County, I think Pete Gunlock started it. You weighed when you came in and you weighed when you left. It's just something we did. I don't know very many inmates that were here any period of time that lost weight being in this jail. You know, again, you're sedimentary. It's not like but still, we had an outside rec room at that time, you know, and they have rec here. But still, the caloric intake that you're getting and the sedimentary style, you're gonna gain weight. So, I thought it was an excellent meal this morning for breakfast, and just wanted to let you know what I was doing. Trying to make a difference.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I'm glad the ad hoc meeting went well.
Yeah, I was very, very happy. Very happy. But I'll get started. I'll get some stuff put out downstairs tonight, today, or tomorrow. I'll get some stuff down in the lobby. I'll call libraries, and I'll call the, county city commissions and see if they want me to forward them information, and they can do with it what they please. Any other orders or advice?
Good.
Okay.
Just don't have him make your coffee.
Oh, yeah, whatever, so. So I'll tell myself, so I brought big coffee maker, you know, to have coffee every day, and water. And again, I use a Keurig, I don't know how much coffee goes in a coffee maker. All I know is that I saw people getting a cup of coffee and opening up a bottle of water and pouring water into their coffee because it was so black and so strong that if you put your metal spoon in it to stir and you pulled it up, there wasn't an end on the spoon. So
There's a problem with that?
that's what some people said. Other people said it's fine, but it was very, very, very black when I got done making coffee. So.
You make it for me anytime.
All right. Hi, Amber. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm fine. All right. I'm gonna go to work.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys. See you later.
Fight crime.
Oops. You're gonna switch. Told her 11:30, so that remember.
I roped him in, so.
You roped him in. You slipped one in on us. What are we thinking? 20 minutes? 15 minutes?
15?
15 minutes?
Yeah.
Non-executive, or executive session with the board, Wade and Amber on emergency management. We'll go in at
I'll make the motion.
Non-elected person.
non-elected personnel.
To discuss, position and, negotiations for the emergency management position.
Position. Tom moved,
All second.
Tim second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. We'll go in at 11:23. For, did I say 15 minutes? Yes.
You did say Amber.
Yeah,
And
yep.
Amber,
Yep,
you
yep.
added her in, yes. Okay, we.
Just did in Eco Devo,
The old, yes. Take the rock.
one more executive session for this.
Do you need anything?
Mm-mm. No, it's almost done.
Okay.
They just have one more executive session and I think they should be good, so.
Okay.
And it's only gonna be a 20-minute one, so.
All right.
But thank you.
You bet.
Yay!
I'll put it on your desk.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Bob, you think 20 or 15?
Oh, I don't know.
I would
I
think.
would think 15 would do it.
I'll keep quiet on this one.
I don't know why we can't, reach something in 15.
I just, we gotta have.
If 15 won't do it, 20 won't either.
All right, I need a motion to move into executive session under the same, we didn't have enough time for 15 minutes to board Amber Wade.
I'll make the motion.
You didn't win the block.
Felix moves, Don second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes, we'll go in at 11:42.
For 15?
Yep.
No, I didn't. I signed a lot of checks.
Did you miss the one that was for me?
It's broken.
That was a very small one this time.
Nope. It wasn't mine. Done.
Yeah.
In regards to the position in emergency preparedness, I'll make a motion to hire Amber at 70,000 even, with her 19 years of experience, training 2 other emergency managers previously. I think she has the credentials.
Do too. On that, I'll second.
Jesse's moved. Tim seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say nay.
Nay.
Motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And there's a celebration.
There we go.
time. Burning the house down.
So, if I could, just really quick, I will reiterate what I said downstairs about the drill, that the state, KDM, was very happy with the communication. And their only suggestion was to put someone out at the EOF, so we're gonna look into that. Do you have any suggestions on someone?
Would that need to be somebody that's had some experience in 3 or 4 training sessions?
I would hope
Like
so,
from the
yeah.
sheriff's office, or,
Yeah.
to me, it needs to be somebody that's got some experience.
Right.
I think somebody from the sheriff's office.
I
would be
do
good.
too.
To me, that'd be the most likely thing.
Road and Bridge.
Or Road and Bridge.
Right.
Road and Bridge.
Well,
Yeah,
really, the position, it doesn't matter where they're from.
Yeah.
If it's somebody who has a little bit of knowledge
Little
about
bit
it,
of
that's all they
what-
need. Doesn't have to be from any place particular.
I mean, all the dispatchers are probably busy, are they not? that's
Yeah,
involved in
dispatchers
that?
probably
So
couldn't
they
get
wouldn't have
away,
any extra.
right. And
Cause
then
you still gotta conduct business, so
Mhm.
they've got extra
So-
sitting in.
Right, so it would have to be on one of their days off, and that wouldn't be good, so.
I just think somebody that was familiar with the
it needs to be somebody somewhat familiar.
with the roads at least.
Yeah, I mean, that puts your highway department and your sheriff's office,
Yeah.
well, maybe your ambulance service.
But
Right.
that position really doesn't have anything to do with the roads.
They're just kind of relaying information back from the EOF,
All
so
you're
they
gonna-
just need a little bit of Wolf Creek knowledge, just to know, site area, general, what classification we're in, and what it means when they're getting ready to do something like
Right.
that, so.
Right, yeah, because I was there long enough that I got to where I could read the charts and I could tell when things were gonna happen, and that's one time when I would usually call in and say, okay, it looks to me like we're getting ready to go to site man, or general, or whatever it might be in advance, because I could read their whole wall. They've got a wall bigger than this wall, it's full of
Mhm.
graphs and stuff, and if you watch them and you learn what they are,
Yeah.
it's and because of the roads, what roads you roadblock and all that,
Yeah,
that person
that's-
really doesn't have much say so in it,
that's
because
done
it's
in the
commissions
EOC.
back here that does it.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know who it could be. I mean, in reality, it could be Casey, because if you would understand the drill, it could be anyone.
could be. Yeah, it just needs to be someone that can be out there and doesn't have a position here on the ERO staff.
That's the key.
Yeah, in the EOC, and it's getting hard to find, cause, yeah,
Well, it could be the clerk.
she's already a PIO.
She's
She's got, oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, guess
She's
can't
already
be
in
the
the
clerk.
EOC. If you guys think of any one particular person, let me know, but that was the only thing really that came out of it. I haven't seen any of the other paperwork from the critiques from the other agencies. I'm waiting on those, but, and Jared Schulte was our controller. I don't know if you guys saw him over in the corner over there. He was there to kind of make sure that the drill didn't go crazy. And he's really into it, and I think he did a great job on, his part of, controlling, so,
Did Bill
he's-
become did he
he
become a
got knighted
controller?
as one, yeah.
Before it was over, he
Yeah.
became a controller, wasn't he?
Yeah, because they didn't, I don't think they really had a specific controller, Wolf Creek controller for us, and they always do. But a bunch of them showed up and ding, you're a controller, so, yeah, Bill got drug in halfway through. And I think Bill said that he will be our Wolf Creek controller for the, pre-exercise and the evaluation. So, and Jared's gonna be our county controller still, so we'll have them. So, and our next pre-exercise is July 20th.
Pre-exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And the grade runs, what, August 31st?
Yes, yep. August 31st.
I tried to make that June.
You tried to make that June? Well, the reason it sticks in my head is because it's the opening day of the fair.
Oh.
I know, I already lost people, so,
Well, there's gonna be a,
yeah.
the wind's gonna switch and blow straight south first.
Uh-oh.
Southwest.
Probably more straight south.
Right. Right. So when I get some more, findings from the drill, if anything else comes up, I'll come up and present them to you guys. And then, since we, have finished negotiations on this, I will come up Monday and we can talk about, my other employees, table of organization for our office on Monday, if that's okay.
Yeah, you need to rewrite table of organizations for your office.
I already have it written. I already have the job descriptions written. I mean, we could do it today, but you guys don't wanna do it today, do you? It's a little late in the day, and it's lunchtime.
We still got another executive session to
Okay.
do.
Well, it can
Okay,
wait till Monday.
When is Amber effective can
Can we make it May?
we make
We'll just
her
make
first
hers.
of May, and that way
Yeah.
she's still the interim, and
Yeah,
still
yeah, let's just make it the first of May.
first of May?
May 1st be the best.
So that way
Yeah,
you
and
change
then-
salaries. and
Right,
everything.
so, right,
Yeah.
that'll make
Make it a lot easier,
Mhm. That's fine with me.
but you're still in charge.
Still in charge. Doesn't matter, still doing the work. Right. Well, thank you guys very much. I thank you all for,
Thank you.
negotiation.
Okay.
Thank
Have a good
you.
day.
Cheers.
Thank you.
We've hit lunch.
So, you're all done except for
You.
You,
Except for roundtable.
Okay.
I know you're gonna take your, are you taking your people out for lunch?
Yeah, but we have, a few minutes.
Go.
So I won't take long, I think 10 minutes. I'd request a 10-minute executive session. Myself and the board under the attorney-client exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act. I believe that's subsection B2, if I remember right, I usually have it in front of me. And the particular subject matter area is county policy, and potential litigation relating to, some of that policy, or that policy issue.
I'll move
Bob's.
with Wade and Commission.
Second.
Bob's moved, Tom second. 10-minute executive session, Board and Wade. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We'll go in at 12:09 for 10 minutes.
we're back in session,
Yep.
right? So after the, executive session, there's no action being taken. And I have nothing further for today. Monday's another day though.
Well, take your staff out for lunch.
Yep, if you didn't know, it's Administrative Assistants Day, and they are, at least in my office, they are being shown the, respect and admiration that they deserve for doing what they do.
Ours is gone today.
Right. So, I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Wade.
Appreciate what you do, Wade.
Yep, thank you.
Absolutely. You got anything new for us? You got anything, you don't have anything for us?
Nope. I'm just,
Other than you're late for lunch, right?
have a date with my dog, so.
And they're standing cross-legged at the
Yeah.
door waiting. Tim, you got anything new?
No, I don't.
Tom,
We covered everything I had today.
Bob,
I think,
Don? Good shape. Good shape. I don't have anything. I guess everybody got their pipeline
Yes.
envelopes, so. The only thing I did have was everybody marked up the job deal for the road and bridge. I think we'll address that Monday, 'cause we gotta get that out.
I think Wade has that now, doesn't he? Does Wade
Well-
have that? Look at it.
Yes.
Yeah, Wade,
Yeah, Wade
y'all,
has it, yeah.
y'all was,
Wade
everybody
will give
was
us-
Yes, we do,
reviewing
but
it.
if we marked it up, yeah.
Yeah, so we have to have to review that Monday so he can finish it, so we
Get
can
it out there.
get it out there for hire. Okay, nothing else? We'll adjourn at 12:23. Have a good day.
Have a good week.
You too, thanks guys.